So in this video, I just want to share with you one more tool. And again, you can find this, or you most likely already have found this in the workbook stroke resource that we created for you earlier on in this section. And this is just around the idea of cognitive restructuring. It's a very, very simple 4-step process, if you like, for reviewing and analysing the accuracy of our thoughts or assumptions. Now, this is actually one that can be very, very good just to use in ourselves. All right. When working with clients, of course, we want to be using a more complex question framework, such as Socratic questions. We want to be guiding them systematically right through the A, B, C, D, E. But we've got to get good at kind of getting ourselves through this process first and foremost, and really staying on top of our own subjective nature. So just being mindful of the various cognitive biases. Remember, in the last section, we looked at Noam Chomsky and looked at Daniel Kahneman, and these guys were major contributors into this area and field of thinking. This is a model that works fantastically well with children, all right? If you work with children, young people, if you are a parent who has children, you can actually teach young people, children, how to grow in self-awareness from a very, very young age. They don't have to wait until they're in their late teens or 20s or 30s or 40s with massive issues in terms of the ways in which they relate to other people and with other people in life. We can actually teach people this from a very, very young age. You can make it a game if you want to, but again, it's one that we really want to be building in to our own lives as a habit as well, by responding more to our emotions than by reacting to them. All right. So what I'll do sometimes is, because I'm a man, I'm an average man, average guy, same as everyone else. Sometimes people say things that I don't like. Sometimes people say things or do things that rub me up the wrong way. Sometimes I'll find myself getting angry towards people or frustrated or things like this, all right? And I use this very, very basic model to check myself before I wreck myself or damage one of my relationships. Call this a great exercise for self-accountability, holding yourself to account, all right? Cognitive restructuring, putting your thoughts on trial. Now, it can be quite difficult to take yourself through the Socratic question framework. I'm going to be straight with you, all right? That one generally works best if we're working through it with someone else. Either someone else is using it on us or we are working on guiding someone else through it. So what we do need to get good at is establishing what our cognitive biases and cognitive distortions are. All right, so if you've just watched through these videos once and you think you've got it, my friend, please watch them all over again, because I guarantee that you don't. All right, I'm still working this out. We can have a level of understanding on a head level, but then it's something else, getting this depth of insight, understanding on a heart level through practice and experience. We can agree with something intellectually whilst not getting it on a deeper level. So this is what kind of allows us to really get some of these ideas. When we identify a thought, for example, uncertainty is bad. All right. So I could say that over the years, I hate judgment. Judgment is bad. You might be nodding your head, agreement. But then if you're a judge, you're probably going to be saying, no, judgment is good. Why? Because we're judging people for doing the bad things that they do. So we become judges in the context of our own life in a non-judgmental way, but ultimately we become students of truth, all right, which is kind of what a judge's role is, to establish that which is actually true. But we've got to go there first, all right? So once we are clear on a pattern of thinking that we've succumbed to, or an idea, this person's bad, that person's bad, this situation's bad, that situation's bad, the economy is falling apart, my national leadership is destroying my country and it's making me feel a certain way, all right? We've just got to name it and shame it, write it down, and then just simply build up a defense, right? Start working out the evidence for the thought and then working out the prosecution evidence against the thought. And the reason why we do this is because ultimately we want to become the judge and the voice of reason in our own lives, all right? By analysing our thoughts, building up the defense, building up the prosecution, and then making a well-informed defense. Now, all this really does is it just really helps us and enables us to develop this regulation, self-management, self-discipline, self-control. It allows us to build up and just become more aware of the B part of things. Remember, A to C thinking is where an activating event happens and then we have an emotional consequence, all right? If we literally, and inside of the workbook, this exercise is there printed off 100 times, all right, and keep it on your desk at work. And every single time you get triggered, you have an emotion going on, right? What was the thought? What was the thought here? Right, what's the evidence for the thought? What's the evidence against the thought? Now, what's the judge's verdict? This is something, I won't demonstrate this on Karen because we've kind of gone a lot deeper than this. So this is a very, very light level exercise that you can use on yourself. I'm going to strongly urge you to, if CBT and these ideas are still quite new to you. However, if you have children and your children come home from school, little Jimmy's just offended me, he's really bad, I don't like him anymore, I've fallen out with this person, I've fallen out with that person. Again, it can be a great exercise for helping younger people just to grow in self-awareness from quite a young age. So practice this on yourself, practice this on your children if you have them. Share it with your clients, it's entirely up to you. It's just another tool to build into your repertoire of CBT practicing resources. All right, so hope you enjoy this, find it useful. I'll see you again in the next clip.